What's going on, everybody? Thank you for tuning in. Listen, man, I know there's a lot of disappointed Knicks fans out there. I know there's a lot of people that are upset. You know, some of y'all had Boston Celtics circled on your calendars. You know, you put a little message on your watch. You know, it's coming up. It didn't work out the way we would have wanted to. But you know what I mean? Maybe there's a little light at the end of the tunnel. We're going to talk about it. There's a lot of stuff that we're going to get into. But yeah, there's some issues with this Knicks team right now. We got to make sure we right. I mean, are we pretenders? Are we contenders? Are we fugazi? Who knows, man? But whatever. It's going to be okay. That's why we're here to talk about it. And thank you guys for tuning in and supporting the show, subscribing. Make sure y'all hit that like button. We appreciate you. We're on the road to 5K. So all your support is greatly appreciated. Thank you for everything. And we're going to see you in a little bit. Let's get it going. Yes.
Say go, New York, go, New York, go. Say go, New York, go, New York, go. Say go, New York, go, new team, it's the same dream. New Knicks City uniform, they stay clean. I just caught mine off of Fanatics in the garden with my hands in the air, we back at it.
Let's go. You tune into SKF Weekly. I'm your man, Ron. That's my brother, John. And that's our guy, Objective Knicks fan in the building. Let's go. Let's go. We here, baby. Oh, sure. Man. I'm hyped. Yeah, let's go. Anyway, I just want to thank everybody for tuning in. We are here. We rocking. We definitely blessed to have Objective with us today. It's going to be a good conversation because we got a lot to talk about. What better three people to talk about this current state of the Knicks than me, who talks you off the ledge, the Objective Knicks fan, and my guy John? Come on, what's better than
Let's go. Let's go.
AKA the irrational one over here.
We here, baby. We here. Shout out to everybody who's tuned in. Thank you to everybody who's in the chat. Real quick, just want to say what's up to Crim's dad in the building. Salute to you, my guy. Thank you for being here. Appreciate you being a part of the SKF army. He says, okay, at this point, I'm convinced Thibs is not worthy of the Knicks. He has been exposed to teams with better coaching. I was late to figure it out, but it's evident with how we lose. I had to read this because this is not just the sentiment of Crim's dad. This is a sentiment of a lot of Knicks fans these days, especially after that Boston game. Shout out to Andios in the building. Appreciate you, my guy. Shout out to Kareem Grant is here. We got Buzzer Beater in the building. Lena Franklin is in the building. Let's go, Lena. We also got HRM the Great is here. Salute to you. Smarter than your average Bear is in the building. What up, Bear? Appreciate you, my brother. Maybe I'll read this one too. This is another sentiment that's going around. He says, bottom line, Brunson is a ball hog. I'm not saying can't play the game, but I think he thinks he's on the block 3 playing one-on-one. Okay, all right. Shout out to G-Man78 in the building. What up, G-Man? Let's go. Appreciate you. And Annie K is here. Let's go, Annie. Oh, worst loss of the year. Ooh-wee. Man. Knicks fans is feeling it right now, guys. Ooh-wee. Oh, boy. John, I'll start with you. What's going on? Are you feeling, brother?
I'm doing good, man. I was saying earlier today, just getting off of a cold, and happy to be back. I know I took last week off because not feeling so well. Just state of the Knicks, man. It's just been. I think we've seen more good than bad this year. Obviously, we have a winning record. Mm-hmm. It's just a tough loss, to run into the Celtics without Porzingis, and even though we didn't have a full team as ourselves as well, it just seemed like they just had too many weapons, just way too many weapons, and we didn't have anything available to stop what they were giving. You know what I mean? Every time we try to see a new approach or throw in a couple of, double teams or, switch off the ball and, trap. It just didn't work. They knocked down every open shot as often as they could. Pritchard was hot early, and then it went from Pritchard to Jalen Brown getting into his mid range and his ISO, and then Tatum was on one. So and then their bigs were just out rebounding us and just
Who's
playing.
That dude, bro? Who's that dude? Yo,
To think he was also a Knick, right? Like Cornette was killing. I was like, come on.
Cornette was killing us. That dude. How Boston keep finding these dudes, bro?
Oh yeah, him too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was tough to watch, man. It was tough to watch.
Yeah, man. I don't know, bro. Let me get over the objective, but let me just say, John brought that. I don't know how Boston be fun. That dude, I don't know what his number was, 55. I don't know whatever. That dude was playing us like he been in the league 10 years, like he been cooking us forever. He was mad confident. I was like, who is this dude? It's crazy. It's crazy. Anyway, objective, man.
Yo, let me tell you something,
bro. But yeah.
Crazy, man. That dude's name is Cater, by the way. He does this. He was even starting at one point for the Celtics when KP wasn't there. So, I did the live play-by-play on my channel, right? We watched the game together. Boy, was it rough. Oh, my God. And I don't know where to start. I mean, the one thing I'm going to say, because, level-headed Knicks talk, I always got to see the glass half full. I'm not going to jump off the ledge like a lot of people did after this game. Oh, we got to fire Coach Thibs like Crime's dad. I'm pretty sure. I think he was on the play-by-play, but I seen a lot of that talk. At the end of the day, it's still 2 games. We still got 2 more games, right? The first time we seen Boston, that was the first game of the season. We didn't really know each other, developing chemistry. Second time around, no OG. So we still didn't see them with the starting 5 that got us here. The starting 5 that got us to 34-17, whatever our record is. We still didn't see that lineup against this Boston team yet, right? I think OG Anunoby is the Tatum defender. You cannot double team Boston. People were getting on me during the live play-by-play. They was like, what do you mean you can't double team these guys? Because if you have to double team Boston, you lost. They're shooting from 25 feet out. Why are you wasting energy and time double teaming these guys? Now, if they drive into the basket, that's different. The guys break you down, you want to help, that's fine. But there's no reason to double team him when he's 24 feet out. More than likely, he's going to shoot a fadeaway from 20 feet. Now, was he making the shots? Damn sure he was, right? But a lot of the shots that he takes are not good shots. So, I mean, I want to see OG Anunoby on Tatum, right? Mitchell Robinson, I'm not really as confident as having him against Boston because we've seen what KP done to him before. I mean, he pretty much cooks him because Mitchell Robinson cannot defend on the perimeter. However, they got this Cater kid and Luke Cornette. Maybe Mitch can come in when those guys are in the game and keep them off of the glass because they killed us on the glass. The rebounding has been our strong suit all year. Before this game, we were 24-6 when dominating the glass, right? And so now, anytime we lose the rebounding matchup, for me, it's like a 50-50 chance that we're going to lose because when we don't dominate the glass, we're 9-11. So, by being out-rebounded by, what was it, they were plus 18 on the glass or plus 17 on the glass, something crazy like that. I knew it was going to be a long night. So Mitchell Robinson can help with the rebounding, right? All I'm saying is, guys, let's give ourselves a chance to see what our team can do when we have our starting lineup. A lot of people want to change the starting lineup when Mitch gets back. I'm one of the guys that's like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Yes, we did lose a bad game to Boston. We got blown out by OKC, but for the most part, we've been doing well with the lineup. So I want to see Boston again. Hopefully on the 23rd, when we see them again, we'll have our lineup intact.
I like it. I mean that makes sense, man. I think it's there's no reason to panic. but there's cause for concern, right? There's a couple things that we have to look at with this Knicks team and say, what the hell's going on? You know what I mean? Like there's a certain thing that you look at the team and you say, okay, all right, we are down a player, right? But life hits you in the face with reality sometimes. You look at yourself, you say, okay, we don't got OG. This is going to be tough. No OG. But then you look at Boston, you're like, we knew going into it, they didn't have Drew Holiday, which is one of their better defenders who gives us problems every time we play them. So we're like, okay, maybe it'll kind of even out. Then we find out no Porzingis. Golly, come on. There's no excuse. What are we doing, Knicks? You got Jalen Brunson who needs to go out there and cook. I don't care if they're sending doubles. He's got to find a way. And guess what, guys? Say what you will about Jalen Brunson. You may not have been happy with the fact that he didn't move the ball enough. He didn't get enough guys open. They didn't believe in each other the way we wanted them to, which I agree with. But at least he put up the points. At least he put up the 30 points and gave the Knicks a fighting chance, giving us some offense. Then you got to look down the line. Matteo had a bad game. They locked him up. But what is up with Karl Anthony? I'm not mad at Karl Anthony. I think he's been great. But let's call a spade a spade. He hasn't been the greatest over this past stretch of games. These last 6 or 7 games, he hasn't been the greatest. And then to go up against Boston with no Porzingis, dealing with a slow Horford, Luke Cornett, and whoever that other dude is, you're Cat. What are we talking about here? I'm very mad at this. All started with the Lakers, by the way, guys. So I'm not blaming Cat for the whole thing. I'm just telling you we needed Cat. Cat ain't the whole reason. Cat's just a piece of it. There's other things that didn't happen. We're getting nothing from the bench. We got nothing from Achua. We got nothing from, I think it was a Campaign. I think it was Campaign too. These dudes all struggle. And then the coaching was bad too. Thibs didn't make the proper adjustments. Thibs didn't do anything to get easier shots, easier looks. We came out the half playing the same basketball we played in the first half. Like, what are we doing? And once again, when I said it started with the Lakers, I'm talking about Cat. Like the Laker game kind of exposed Cat. The Lakers came out with a really good blueprint on how to stop Cat and Brunson, and it worked to perfection. They had the height. It had the intensity on defense. It worked great. Then we saw when the Knicks played Houston, Houston came with the same blueprint, but the Knicks had a different game plan. They seen it already, and they came out a little different, and that was it. You know, we were able to get it going, and in the end, we got the victory. But now you face a team like Boston that not only is better than Houston, they're better than the Lakers. They can execute the same thing, and we got no answers for them on the reverse end because our three-point defense is trash. The funny thing is their three-point defense is trash too, but it don't matter.
Don't matter.
What are we gonna do? I can't, John. It's the craziest thing ever to me that our defensive our three-point defense is so bad, and we look at what we putting out there, and then we look down the line and look at the league, and Boston statistically is worse. It don't even look like it.
You know, it also had a lot to do with like how terrible our pick and roll defense was too. Like we couldn't figure out whether to go underneath or over the top with any. It didn't matter who it was. If it was Tatum, you're going underneath. Bridges is going underneath. He gets trapped underneath, and he's leading to wide open three-point shots. And then the reverse, when you're trying to go over the top and you're leaving Cat exposed, and he doesn't have the greatest footwork, so he's either driving to the lane or dunking it like he did on unfortunately Achua was late to that play early on in the game, like to start the game off. It's like it was one of those things where you just seen the consistency of how they played off of Tatum, and then from there it was like, well, let's get Pritchard involved and Jalen Brown, and then everyone starts getting in the groove. The one thing I have to say about Cat, when he plays against his countryman Al Horford, he can't play the bully ball because Horford's too strong. It's just what it is. Horford is a better defender. Horford is a legit center in the old NBA, to be honest with you. Like he plays an old school type of basketball, so you can't bang with him. You have to really outmaneuver him. And I think he he didn't do enough of that when he was against that matchup. But when he was against Cornette, he didn't go down in the block enough, And it's like you got to know who you're facing, and that's the thing. It's like knowing. I think in Thibs is partly to blame. It's like know your matchup, right? See where you can take advantage. Where's the mismatch for your team, specifically on the offensive side, and take advantage of it and keep going to it until they stop it. But we kept shifting, giving a moment for Cat, and then Cat didn't get his off, and then it's just Brunson time, and then it's Brunson all the way. Then McCall's getting it like secondarily to both of them instead of having him be a part of the offense from the get-go. It's one of those things. Like I like when they get Macau involved early, like push him off of screens, let him work one-on-one, get him in the paint, and let him work because he's solid there, right? He's solid. That's sort of his bread and butter. So didn't really see none of that. And then Josh Hart also had sort of like a unbalanced game where he seemed erratic at times, unlike himself, So.
Yeah. So shout out to David Smith, who is, in the spokesman for the Cat fan club. I appreciate you.
Okay.
He said Cat is top 5 MVP voting, received most amount of All-Star votes for a Knick ever, averaging 24 points, 13.5 rebounds, and 3.3 assists. He's hurt. No one figured him out. Listen, you may be right. And I'm not saying that Cat is not playing hobbled. It's more than the finger, because obviously that knee, it's like touch and go. He's playing, but it's a little soft. He ain't really healed up. He's having to play through it. Okay. I can understand that. And that may be fair. And that may be affecting him running up and down the court, may affect his explosiveness. Just, whenever you're a player doing anything, if something don't feel right, you're not quite right. I can understand that. But still, it doesn't make up for the fact that if you're not 100%, and maybe you can't really bounce or move the way you normally do, your decision making has to be a little quicker. When the double team is being thrown at you, you have to pass out the double team, or move quicker before the double team gets there. If you can't do that because you're physically ailing, you got to pass out of it. And Cat has been holding the ball. That double team is coming and it's collapsing on him, and he's still got the ball, and then he's forcing the shot. It's the decision making, and I don't care how big of a fan of Cat you are. Sometimes he doesn't make the best decision. He just does that on defense. You see him getting into foul trouble instead of standing straight up and not bouncing into the player or not jumping. He doesn't always make the best decision. You see him swiping at the ball like inconsequential, like for no reason. Like you're not a guard that's going to steal the ball. He just swipes at the ball and gets called for a foul. Like sometimes he does that stuff. And what I'm saying is right now, his level of play needs to change a little bit for the Knicks to be successful. Whether it is he just has to think quicker and get the ball out of his hands, or he has to do something better when he gets double teamed to help the team. And that hook shot that you're talking about, I saw him attempt one. I don't know if he attempted more than one in the Boston game, but I saw one and it looked terrible because it was forced. It wasn't a comfortable hook shot because he's not comfortable right now because maybe he is hurt. Either way, and one thing I will say that is an abomination in a way is Cat only took 8 shots. Like what the? We're playing the Boston Celtics. We don't have OG. Macau's getting stopped. Jalen is being forced to score, and Cat only took 8 shots. Like that is a problem. And if you guys keep pointing the finger at just Jalen Brunson, you're doing yourself a disservice because the coach is coaching the team. He cannot have one of his best players only taking 8 shots. That's not just on Jalen. That's on the coach too.
Facts.
What's your thoughts, Objective?
Well, I was going to get to the 8 shots. Whose fault is that? Like early in the season, there was a push to give Cat more shots.
Right.
And there was a talk. Brunson took it on himself, like, "Oh, I have to do my job." But clearly, 3 of 8 shooting. He did shoot 2 of 2 from 3. For all my thumb people, he did shoot 2 of 2 from 3, but you know, he only played 28 minutes. And granted, as I know you said Boston 3-point defense is not the greatest.
It's well, I don't know what it is now, but the last time I checked, they were last in the league.
Well, we're last in percentage for
Right.
sure. We're
Right.
dead
No,
last. We give up 38%. Yeah, we give up. Teams shoot their season high against us when it comes to shooting threes. But outside of this, whatever shortcomings the Celtics have defensively on the 3-point line, they do everything else well. Yes. They do everything. I mean, they're 6th ranked defense for a reason and top 4 offense in the league. And we see it. Like, so, yeah, we got the offense and they got but they also have the defense. But just to piggyback on this Towns point, I kind of give somewhat of the blame to Towns too. Like, you got to be a little bit more aggressive. You know, you got Luke Cornett, Cater, Gardner, Horford. You know, it's this thing that he was doing throughout the season that gave him a lot of success, and that was what I call the modern day post up, which is him taking centers off the dribble from the top of the key. They can't stay in front of him. We didn't really get the chance to see that against Boston, right? Granted, they got their schemes is off the hook. They run these matchup zones. It's a nightmare to deal with their defense. But I felt like, yeah, you can say Coach Thibs should have told Brunson, hey, maybe, you know, get Towns more involved. But at the same time, Towns, you're the best player on the team. Some people feel you got to say, hey, guys, I only got 4 shots going into halftime. I can't remember what the exact amount of shots is, but this is the time for your best players to step up. Bridges didn't have it. Bridges shot 15 shots. So it's only so much we was going to get out of him. He went 5 of 15, right? Josh Hart didn't have the greatest shooting night, you know, and it was just one of these nights where nothing can go right except for Jalen Brunson. So also to link it to what the earlier guy said about Jalen Brunson, I like to see Jalen Brunson do this when nobody else has it going. If nobody else has it going, Brunson has to do what he has to do. You expect him to pass it to a bunch of guys that's either not taking a shot or not hitting a shot. This is Brunson's time to cook. And I think that Towns, you know, he showed you that he could knock down the 3 ball. He went 2 of 2. I'm putting it on Towns. It could be a lot of different factors, but I'm saying Towns, you got to be more aggressive and call for the ball. Give me the ball. I'm Karl Anthony Towns. I'm the best center in the East. Give me the ball. That's just how it has to be. That's what the mentality has to be.
Yeah, that's a fair point. That is definitely a fair point. So I mean, look, it's crazy to me that with the expectations that we had coming into this Boston game, and mind you guys, you know, normally we do a recap of the week, but the bottom line is it was only really 2 games because I was on Monday and we went over the Houston game. So we're only talking about Toronto. I don't want to talk about Toronto, but Toronto is bad this year. Knicks got their number. It is what it is. We got bigger problems. So we go focus on these Celtics. So, but just not just the Celtics, but good teams in general, because we all know that the Knicks struggle with young, tall, athletic teams. That it is what it is. It is what it is. Every team's got some type of Achilles heel that's out there. That's the Knicks' Achilles heel, right? But even though that's the case, the Knicks, if they want to be a championship contending team, they have to figure out a way to spell that problem. Like, what are we going to do? What can we do to fix this issue? Now, my one thing that is bothering me a little bit more, even though I say the Knicks will be fine, and I do believe the Knicks will be fine, I do believe by the time everything's said and done, the Knicks will be right there, ready to go into the playoffs at the top of the Eastern Conference and ready to do their thing.
We with you. I'm with you with that.
Yeah, you know what I mean? But still, I'm a little concerned about Tom Thibodeau's coaching. I'm a little concerned that every time we have a big matchup versus a really good NBA team, he gets out-coached. I don't like to even say that, but the proof is in the pudding, because every time we look at the game, we're like, yo, the other coach is out-coaching Thibs. So, John, what am I wrong? Am I tripping?
No, well, not one bit. And I think that's kind of why the rhetoric is so in high volume against Thibs right now, is that game in, game out, especially specifically against, teams that match up well against us, he runs into the same old problems. His in-game adjustments are just not where it's at. He sticks to a very routine 7, and that routine 7, regardless of whether they got it going or not, are going to play the game. And I think that is part of his Achilles heel as a coach, is that he's unwilling to see what else, or go further down the bench to see if he can get a spark. You know what I mean? He's hoping that the first 7 gives him the spark. And in situations like that, you're gonna run the risk of losing a game because you just don't have the matchup quality, right? Like, you don't have point for point happening. Like, for instance, Shamet came in at the very end of the game and gave us some solid minutes and looked good against Pritchard. And I was like, interesting. Why wasn't that even a thought in this game, right? And it's like, I know it didn't count at the moment that it played out, but just the mere fact that there was a little bit of willingness to get gritty by Shamet, I would have liked to seen it. I would have liked to seen that, and so we didn't get an opportunity to. We did see 8 minutes of Huck Porty, and obviously with the talent that Boston has, it's more experienced center, like Luke Kennett and Halford. They're gonna school a kid like that because to just have tenure, they understand the game a little bit deeper than he will. He will get there at some point, but as of right now, he just. But 8 minutes wasn't enough, right? Cat played only 28. Was in foul trouble. Was he in foul trouble early? I don't even know, to be honest with you. It just.
Yeah. He had some foul trouble. He did.
Yeah. I mean, so I don't know, 4, man.
Yeah.
He had 4. So I mean, needless to say, it just seemed like it was just an uphill battle. I think what was the closest we got the game to? Was it like 8 or something like that?
I think it was 3.
Was it 3? We got that close?
3 or 4. Remember what killed us was horrible. One of the worst you're going to see. And I'm sure at the end of the game, the referees looked at it and said, well, we got it wrong. That shouldn't have been the foul on Deuce with White. That should not have been a 3. Foul.
Yeah.
And we were I think we were within 4. And then when he hit the 3 shots, we were down 7 again.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, that's why I couldn't.
That was the first half, though, right? Because the second half, first year.
Oh, either way, that's the closest we got. I don't remember.
Yeah, yeah. Because starting the third, it was just like they just started to dominate us.
Yeah, we started getting cooked. Yeah. But no, I agree. Yeah, it was tough. It was tough. And the worst part about this is what so to your point, John, and you're right. Like, obviously these guys are well schooled, players that have been in the league. They know how to play against no matter what matchup. And they're going to make it tough for a young player to play out there who doesn't, just doesn't have that same level of experience. But Thibs did the Thibs thing. You've been doing something that's been working the last few games and even against good competition. And then because it's Boston, you decide not to play anybody again. You go back, you revert back to the whole thing. You're down one of your key players to begin with, and you decide not to play the bench and not to use guys. This is it's one of those things where I understand it if it's working, but when it's not working, you can't make it make sense for me. If the Knicks already came out the gate, they're struggling against the team. They're trying to keep it close, but they're struggling. Guys are having, for whatever reason, Cat's not getting the shot attempts. But then again, he's not shooting that great with the shot attempts he's getting. McCall is struggling, right? The only guy who really had it going was Brunson. But everybody else is they're having a tough game. Why wouldn't you try to see if you can get a little bit of spark from your bench, knowing that Boston is going to use their bench? Why? I don't understand what's this thing. It's like, no, now that we're playing the good competition, you guys haven't earned the time to be out there in this serious moment. We got smoked. What does it matter in the end? Yeah, get my starters, the best starters in the league. I'm gonna keep y'all out there because y'all deserve to get smoked like this. Like, what are we doing? I don't get it. I'm frustrated. I'm upset. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah. You ain't the only one.
Yeah, no, but I'm more upset with the fact that I just really wish that I saw some of the same Tom Thibodeau that I saw last year. This Knick team this year is definitely, a team that can be better than last year's team. I think we've got more talent. Do we have more heart? Do we have more guts? I don't know about that. We started to play with more heart, but we don't quite have it. You know what I mean? They don't have that fire, that grit. They don't have that grit that they had last year. And it shows. And then the other thing is Thibs we gave him credit. Like, we were on Thibs to start the season last year. And then he made some moves and some adjustments, and we started to see, I'll never forget, it started against when we played Philadelphia, and he coached his butt off in that game. And I was like, what is happening? Everybody was dope. It was like, I can't believe it. Thibs looks like a real coach for us. And he did most of that the whole season. He had some moments, but for the most part, he was making adjustments. This year, I'm not seeing it, bro.
And he was bringing Deuce into the game in crucial moments, which was like a shift, right, from the norm. It was like, oh, Deuce is getting heavy minutes, and Deuce is an integral part of this offense now, and it became a thing, right? And so we don't have that, knowing that he's kind of our sixth man, right? Yeah. Basically, we don't have anyone else we can rely on that's on the deep side of the bench that can give you what Deuce gave us the year prior. You know what I mean? And that's the biggest thing. Is like, why don't you look a little further down the bench just to see? And if it don't work, hey, you tried, and then you just didn't work.
Right. I mean, it doesn't hurt to give people a shot, especially when you don't really have a good answer for your opponent. Like, we couldn't necessarily, all we did was kind of slow them down, keep them at bay, but they were comfortable the whole game. I don't think Boston ever had no inkling they were going to lose this game. They were comfortable the whole game. And in the third quarter, they lit us up. So yeah, it's just one of those things. Let me just get to the super chat and then get over back to objective. You know what it is. Shout out to P. Doug in the building. Thank you for the generous super chat. He says, I think the fans and pod shows are a big part of Knicks' failure with capping for this coach and players who are not cutting it. Precious plays like garbage against real players. Deuce has been trash also. Well, I mean, I want to say, in fairness, my opinion, Precious has been fantastic. He did look really bad in this Boston game, but for the most part, he's looked pretty damn good. And in some games, he's really impressed. So, because I don't expect that much from Precious. I know we need him, but he's an undersized big who doesn't play good against centers. He plays good against power forwards and smaller, and that's like his niche. That's his thing. And sometimes, for whatever reason, he's got it going. Like, sometimes, some games he has that extra and he's just ready. This Boston game was not it. Deuce, listen, I think a lot of people are starting to come down hard on Deuce. I've been seeing some things lately. I will say, from my opinion, I get you guys' opinion, but I do think Deuce has struggled all year. Something's missing with Deuce this year. It just hasn't been clicking. And you can tell it's not clicking. I don't know if it's focus, but his 3-point shot has been okay. But only thing that really, I mean, just being honest, the only thing that really makes Deuce's 3-point shot okay is that he's not taking many attempts. So his percentage doesn't look as bad as it really is. I don't think he's playing that well offensively. Defensively, I think he's still right there. I think ever since I've been asking for him to be more active, not like he's listened to me, but he's been more active. He's been getting steals again. He's been getting back to the Deuce defense we like to see. But the one thing that you can see, and it's obvious that something's not right with Deuce, can you guys tell me how many damn layups has Deuce missed? I have never seen Deuce miss this. I don't know if I've seen any Knicks player miss this many layups since when we first got Dante. That first month, Dante was missing all types of layups. I was like, what the hell's going on? And then he cleaned it up. He got it back together. Deuce is always missing layups. And like some of them, he's by himself. I'm like, what is happening? I don't know what's going on. Objective, what's your thoughts on Coach, Deuce, Precious?
Well, salute to Pete Duggar. He was on my chat earlier. Some of the fans, they're still upset over the loss. But look, man, well, in terms of last year, I want to talk about this. I'm going to get to that super chat. You said that last year's team has more grit, more heart. People forget that we went 1-4 against Boston last year, 3-2 against the Bucks. We got swept by OKC. I mean, we lost to Orlando 3-1. Right now, our team is tracking to do better than last year's team, record-wise. So, when we say this team is not better than last year, we finally I didn't get a chance to do the Knicks and 10 show. I will be doing it, but above 500 teams, our record is better this year against 500 and above teams than it was last year. Right? Last year we started off, we played more teams that were 500 and above, so it was a little harder stretch early on. But now, our record has sort of gotten better. So we've lost to Boston, we lost to LA, and Minnesota. Right? That's our last 3 losses. All those teams are good teams in the playoff mix, but we've gotten some really good wins. I think we're being a little too hard on ourselves. And I think that because last year's team, we didn't have expectations like that. This year's teams is, we're supposed to win the championship. So I think that's the problem. It's not about the pods and clapping for the coaches. I think it's you guys that have, I'm not talking about P. Doug or you directly. I'm just saying fans in general, you guys have a lot of unrealistic expectations. You're not just allowing the games to flow. Last year, it flowed a lot more smoother because like we said, it was amazing seeing all these guys out and hurt, and we were doing as well as we was. So I think that we need to relax, take a chill pill. The season's not over yet, right? There's a lot more to go. And as far as, Precious playing against players that's garbage. I'm going to tell you the issue with Precious. Precious was out of position. Precious is a power forward, right? Thibs was using him at the 5 a lot. And it's just a different look. Like, he's undersized. He's 6'8". He's better at the 4. Did he have a great game the last game? No, of course not. But that's the Boston Celtics. We're not going to play the Boston Celtics every night. I guarantee he'll probably look way better against Indiana, because more than likely OG's not going to play that game either. I guarantee you he's going to have a much better showing. So, as far as Deuce is concerned, he had a hamstring. He had 2 stretches where he missed 5 games each, right? I'm not trying to cap for him. He definitely does not look as good. Even his plus minus numbers is down as of late. But at the same time, I think that hopefully the hammy's not bothering him. I know he's not listed on the injury report, but it's still time for him to do better. Like, I'm optimistic still. I know we lost, but I see the big picture. Right? I see the whole scene, and I think Knicks fans, we get so zoomed in on the loss that if we go, think about this: if we beat Indiana, Atlanta, Chicago, and then beat Cleveland, y'all not even gonna be thinking about Boston until we got to play them again on the 23rd. Then y'all be thinking about Boston again. But I think we just get too wrapped up in the losses, and then we just over magnetize it. Well, was that it, or was there something else?
That was it. I think that's a good. Listen, that's a good opinion, a good breakdown of how. That is more of the realistic look at what's going on, because the bottom line, yes, of course, we know statistically the Knicks are a better team this year than we were last year. We're on pace to be a better team and possibly hit that same win total, or if not better. Right. And we're still 3rd in the East. We're definitely sitting in a good position, and we can continue to be there. I agree with that. The only thing I would say is you could tell that the Knicks played with more grit and a little bit more heart last year, because the way we won or lost games was a little closer. Like, the games were a lot more competitive on both sides. So the Knicks had to come from behind a lot more. The Knicks had to hold on to leads in a different way. Whereas this team, because we've been so explosive offensively, sometimes when we go, we gone, we out. And so it hasn't been that you have to see that same level of grit and fire and like getting out of the doldrums of something and watching a guy like Dante DiVincenzo hit 4 or 5 threes in a row to get us the lead and get, you know what I mean? It's just a different style of basketball, and we're tested differently this year than we were last year. So that's why I think it's a little bit more evident. But you are absolutely right in what you're saying. That is all very true. I agree. What's your thoughts, John?
Yeah, I'm kind of on the same boat. I do believe, I mean, in what Objective Nick is saying. I think it's important to take a step back and realize that we are a better team. This is why I say, like, the season's been more good than bad early on. It's just the games when these matchup games, right? These games that are like national televised games and games that you expect your team to be ready and prepared and sort of rolling on all cylinders, and then we sort of drop the ball. It's tough. It's tough for Knicks fans. It's tough for any fan to see their team. I mean, I'm sure it was tough for KC. Yes, Super Bowl Sunday, right? Like, to witness what they witnessed, right? And so it isn't easy for the fan to root for a team where you have so much expectation on them, to see them, sort of bring that forward. And it really a lot of times it comes down to just full on hustle, right? Effort, right? And when you don't see the effort put out there that you see from another team, it becomes much more disappointing. For me, it felt like a disappointing loss. And again, it had a lot of factors to do with a little bit of everything, right? And then I start to look at the way the roster is constructed, and I don't want to sort of go there, but just to go there, it's like the undersized guard play, right? We have like wings that are undersized, and it's like, does that truly play a factor? Will it play a factor the deeper we go into the playoffs, right? Because you're gonna get more athletic players, right? And the wings are gonna get taller and they're gonna get more athletic. So, like, do we have enough length to contend in the East is the question. Because that's what it comes down to. I'm not even concerned about the West, because my concern is going to be, how far can we get into the East run? Can we make it past the second round, right? Because that's the totem pole. And I don't know, not with this roster. We have an abundance of short, small guards, 6'1", 6'3". Very, Josh Hart is playing the forward at 6'5". The power forward mainly. A lot of times he does win a lot of the matchups, but it's a difference. It's a difference when you're playing against a big team like Boston. When you play a big team like the Magic and Cleveland, and and the Hawks for that matter. So we're gonna have to wait and see. But if we wait enough, I mean, the trade deadline is over, right? So we have the team who we have. Unless you're trying to make up some ground on releasing a player or two and picking up an option, this is the team. The question is, do we have enough depth to contend? And right now, I personally don't think we do. I don't think we have enough. Not to get past the elite, teams in the East.
So let me ask you guys a question. We haven't hit the buyout market yet. It's coming up, right? I think it's the end of February, maybe that first week of March. There's a lot of talk about TJ Warren. Obviously, we know he's looked great in the G League doing his thing. He just recently put up 47 in the G League. So it's kind of like people are like, it's inevitable that, when the buyout market gets here and we can get him for half the cost, that they'll be bringing him to the big club. And obviously, we'll talk about Mitch in a little bit, but knowing the way this Knicks team is set up and the way they play, and mind you, even though, let me see, let me double check, because I forgot off the top of my head. You guys know TJ Warren's height?
6'8".
6'8".
Right. They got on me earlier because I said 6'9". They was like, he's not 6'9", he's 6'7". That led to a whole debate, and I'll pull it up. He's 6'8".
Okay, he's 6'8". Problem is, he is a one-dimensional player. I mean, he's offense. He's not defense, right? Then you got another guy out there who is going to be on the buyout market in Torrey Craig, who also is 6'8", who is not as offensively gifted as TJ Warren, but he has his moments. He can knock down an open three. He can give you a little 2-point game here and there, but more importantly, he plays defense. So my question is, what do you think is more important for this Knicks team currently constructed? A TJ Warren to add more offense to what some people say is one of the best offensive teams in the league, or Torrey Craig, who can help with size and defensively, and who we already know how our defense has been looking in certain aspects. Well, let me start with you, Objective. What would you rather have? I'm not saying that that's going to be the case, but if you had to choose between
if you had to choose, right? Now, this is hypothetical because Torrey Craig was already snatched up by Boston. They got him.
Hell no!
Yeah, they got him. I saw that. I was like, damn, that would have been a good pickup. Yeah, they got him. They got him. But it's still a good question to ask. Like, should we get a player like Torrey Craig? I would go for the Torrey Craig because that's what we need. We don't just need a 6'8" dude that can shoot. Yes, it's great, but I'm taking the defensive guy. So as much as I like TJ Warren, I wish it was somebody else that actually maybe would have a chance to play, because I don't even think TJ Warren would have a chance to play. We have 12 guys, including Mitch, that Coach Thibs has trust in. I'm just going to say it like that. With Shamit, with Precious, when you add it all up, it's all 12 guys that's been in the rotation, Ariel, right? So adding TJ Warren, I don't know if he'll even crack the top 12, but as far as size goes, I think when Mitch gets back, and I know we're going to talk about Mitch, I don't want to spend too much time there. I think that automatically makes us a bigger team, especially if Thibs chooses to play 8 guys in the playoffs. And I only see Deuce being the only smaller guard, coming off the bench. But yeah, that's what I would say. Okay.
I got you, P. I see them. Damn it, bro. What the? How did I not know? Yo, and how does Boston always continue to do this, man? They just keep getting guys, man. Oh, I hate them. Can't stand Boston, bro. Oh, it's the worst. Yeah, apparently that's the case, Wolf Perry. Yeah. Yes, thank you. Yeah. They got him. Golly. I don't know how they hit John. But okay. But it's a hypothetical on one side. But the point is, would you prefer a TJ Warren type or a Torrey Craig type? Both 6'8" players. One's more defensive oriented, one's offensive.
Yeah. For me, the way the Knicks are constructed right now, I'm gonna go with a shooter. We lack the ability to get any offense off the bench. And the offense that we do get, we're getting from a starter that's staying with the bench team. You know what I mean? So I think we need some knockdown shooters, some guys who can not necessarily defend at a one-on-one level, but defend team-oriented more for rebounding, because Bridges is a terrible rebounder. OG is not a great rebounder. And so you need some height to assist with that. And I think the lack of height also affects us in that way. But again, it goes to say, like, Thibs isn't going to go deep into the bench. And Mitchell Robinson, depending on whether he's going to come back fully healthy and full strength, it's a question. It's up in the air, right? And so we don't know until it actually happens. And that's what's scary. That's the biggest, unknown that we have in this season, because he could come in and dominate and be extremely effective on where we need him to be, and that's on the defensive side of the game, and on the rim running. But they can be the complete opposite, where he needs time, and we don't have enough time for him to really get his footing, and so I don't know, for that, if I like that they went away from Jericho Sims to get Huck Porty more minutes, but you bring in a kid like Donnell Wright, who has the ability to play defense. He's a better Delon Wright, right? He's a better defensive player than he is offensive player. So you have that already. He's a 6'5", maybe 6'6" wing, who gives you that. So I'm gonna go with a little bit more height and someone who can get a bucket if you ever need to go deep. But I just, it's a play because you know who you have as your coach, and it's kind of like you bring this guy in and then he's not playing, and then it just makes the fan base just get even more irate about Thibs not playing guys because we have a solid or a deeper bench. I should say. So
right. No, I mean,
where we're at, man.
I mean, the Knicks do it's tough because I could see a need for both type of player. You're right about that because the bench is giving us nothing. On average, the bench gives us 10 to 15 points a night, if that, if we're lucky. And it's tough. It's tough because and that in essence, I don't know what to say because and sometimes you got to point the finger at the player because Campaign, who is streaky, but he has been better on the side of positive with his streaks, and he hasn't been getting more than 12 minutes a game. Like sometimes he doesn't even get 12 minutes. However, Deuce, who hasn't been as effective offensively as Cam has, he's been getting 20 minutes lately.
20 minutes, right?
20 plus. So that's I don't know.
To be honest with you, if I'm looking at it and being objective, no pun intended, I'm actually not playing Deuce over Cam. I'm actually playing Cam over Deuce and letting Deuce get over the hump, figure it out, because those minutes are valuable minutes, especially down the stretch of games where he's playing alongside Brunson and he's not giving me anything on the offensive side when you need him to. You know what I mean? And you're going to be less effective when you're driving and kicking and constantly driving and kicking and you're not even posing to be a threat. And that's the biggest thing. You need someone out there with Brunson who's going to pose the threat. That hey, you leave me open, I'm knocking him down, and right. I'm not afraid to shoot it.
Exactly, 100%. Y'all know what it is. Shout out to Paris Duggar. Thank you for the generous super chat. He says Knicks got to replace Deuce Precious with minimum contracts. Precious looked like he had Parkinson's disease, falling and can't get up. Precious has no motor. I don't know if I agree with that, P. Duggar. Precious has showed
that weird.
He have a motor. He definitely has had some really good games for the Knicks in recent times. How quickly we forget. Yeah. Where are you, Janet Jackson? What have you done for me lately? What the heck happened? P. Duggar, come on, baby. But I hear you. You're not happy with what you saw in that Boston game. I get it. Like a lot of people, like I said, people had that Boston game circled. Like this was the litmus test for a lot of people. I get it. We already played them. We weren't ready, but y'all like, now. I mean, look at how much time we play. All these games we played in between playing Boston again. We should be ready. I get it. And we didn't look good. You also said, thank you for the generous super chat. He says, soon as guys that pushed guys leave, guys become trash. I mean, when you don't have, like John always said in the past, it's good to have, competition. It's good to have guys who will push each other for spots. That's how you get the best out of guys. The Knicks don't really have a lot of that right now because we got especially the bench got the same type of players, same size type players. Like there's not a lot of difference in what you can bring that can give you a different look. And the guys that are built differently are not getting any burn. Like we already talked about Jacob Toppin as a practice player because that's pretty much all we're getting from the 6'8" fella. So I don't know what's going on, but it is what it is, man. We just have to deal with it. Let me piss you guys off even more. Some of y'all already seen this. I know when I saw it, I was heated, but yeah, hold on. Let's put this up here. Hold on. Give me a second. Change this. Here we go. I don't know if y'all seen this yet. Some of y'all may have, but it warmed the cackles of my heart when I saw it. I said, oh yeah, nothing like hearing Brian Scalabrine talk about the Knicks. All right, let's check this out, folks, because this definitely made me all happy. Let me tell you. Oh boy.
If you're the Knicks, it all comes crashing down. Like you are now
Why is it
once again.
Wait a minute. Why is that not Wait, can you guys hear it? Because I don't know if I can't hear it. Can you hear it? Oh, you can hear it? Okay, cool. I already know what it sounds like, but as long as y'all can hear it, good.
If you're the Knicks, it all comes crashing down. Like, you are now reminded once again that you are just not on the same level and you have a long ways to go.
Question for you. Are the New York Knicks the most overrated brand in the history of sports? Across all
Definitely
sports.
lately, right?
Lately? I mean, over the last 50 years? Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
that's
so
what I
long
mean.
as any of us have been alive, like, nobody really talks about the great level of loserdom, and that is not a word, but the great concentration of loserdom with the New York Knickerbockers. No team is branded as bigger time than the Knicks, who have accomplished basically nothing in their entire history, and the Celtics put them in their place tonight. But I was thinking that as I'm watching this, like, you know, here's this Knicks team. They've had a good year, and they add Karl Anthony Towns, and they get Mikal Bridges, and you're like, oh my God, oh, they're going to have the answer for the Celtics. Please. The Celtics have made a true statement to this team in the 2 games they have played them. You don't belong on the same court with us. And they don't. If I'm a Knicks fan, I am terrified about this matchup going into the playoffs. And this is probably what you're getting in the second round. Celtics are probably going to be the 2 seed. Knicks are probably going to be the 3 seed. And the Celtics have owned that ass this year. The Knicks can't match up with them. How many open looks are the Celtics getting against this Knicks defense? I thought Bridges was going to stop Jason Tatum. Holy crap. Nearly 50 3-pointers against the Knicks this year. 2 complete and total ass kickings for a team that everybody told me was on the rise. And they don't belong on the same court as the Celtics. This was a statement tonight.
They have a problem
Guarding the three. They don't guard the three.
They don't guard the
three.
three.
That's why they can't beat us.
And if we're knocking those threes down, they're definitely not going to have an opportunity to beat us.
All right.
There were some pause moments in there.
All right. Okay. So how that make y'all feel? I mean, listen, as I said, because I think I responded. I think I put something under that as soon as I saw it. Oh yeah, I know what I said. I said whether or not I agree or believe in what Brian Scalabrine said, because there's some truth to what he's saying. I am not happy that the Knicks put themselves in the position that Brian Scalabrine can say anything about. That's what upsets me more. We talk about Brian Scalabrine. He's talking about, yeah, they can't beat up Brian Scalabrine. What are we talking about here? Come on, man. I can't deal, bro. John, I mean, come on. Like, what are we talking about here, bro?
What do they say about those who can tell history, right? Those who can tell history are the ones who conquer, right? And so we left to the words of those who have conquered in the NBA. The Boston Celtics have a legendary runs of championships, starting with Bill Russell, going into the Boston era of KG and Ray Allen and Paul Pierce, and then they just won one, right? So it's like, it's hard to have that conversation with a Boston fan because they have a history of winning.
Mm-hmm.
They're winning today, and so for us, it's that hump. We got to get over the hump, and until we do so, we can't talk back about any of it because it's true. Like, we haven't done anything in 50 years, however many years. You know what I mean? That has been since the championship and 73, right? It's like, where are we? So there is some truth to it. Do I like it? No, not one bit. But this is why the Knicks fandom is so is the way that we are, because we are knowledgeable basketball fans, and we do see a good product when we see it. We know a good product when we see it, And when the product isn't what is sold to be, it's disappointing.
Yeah, agreed. What you think, organic? I mean, organic, objective. Too many
I'm
O's.
gonna say this. Yeah, we're not supposed to be listening to the Celtics radio. Clearly,
No,
that's
who
their
you
own.
telling, bro? I was so
that-
mad that I found out. I was like, why am I seeing this, man?
That's their own. That's their world. I mean, I can't argue from a standpoint like the Knicks are winning, and we have been winning, But I could give pushback on the overrated part. I don't know when the Knicks have been rated to do anything highly. So you got to be rated highly to be overrated. No one rates the Knicks high to do anything. So I completely disagree with that. For the most part, people think we suck, even when we don't suck. And we always have to argue, we got a pretty good team this year, but you're not winning the championship, so you suck. So the overrated thing, I think that's just not true. No one overrates the Knicks, not even Knicks fans, except for we got a couple of delusional ones that think we're going to win championship every year. Not counting them. Like most Knicks fans, we got a little bit of a level head. We're going to tell you that, hey, we're not the favorites to win a championship. So no one is overrating the Knicks. That's all I could really respond with. But I am going to say this. We have 2 more games against Boston. Like this, you got to play the games. And like I said, I want to see them with a healthy OG against that 5 that got us to where we are now. I need to see how OG on Tatum looks, right? I need to see how we defend the 3 ball. Yes. But another key thing they said was, they can't guard us from 3 if we're knocking down the 3 ball. If is a big word. Because there's going to be nights where you're not going to knock down the 3 ball. And then what happens then? So there's still more to be seen, whether we see them in the playoffs, the 2 more games. That's where I'm at with it. I need to see it with OG there. And then, once what happens, then we'll deal with it then. But, I'm always going to keep it real. The Celtics, they are, top 2 in the East. To me, they're better than Cleveland. I'm going to keep it real. I think that we can be like a lot of people took my comment the wrong way earlier that I said, this doesn't say anything about Cleveland. That's a completely different monster. Right. Just because you lose to the Celtics does not mean you're going to lose. I mean, because you can do triangle theories all year around. Boston lost to the Raptors twice, in my opinion. The Raptors got robbed in one of those games because they didn't call Tatum for a travel. Right. But we dominated. We swept the Raptors. Right. Does that mean the Raptors are the best team? So just because you lose to a team and another team beats that team, that doesn't mean anything. Let's see what happens with Cleveland. It's a whole different monster, a whole different matchup. But Boston, to me, the reason why I think that they are the best team in the East is because their defense, they're in their top 5 defense, top 5 in offense. They're probably the only Memphis also is top 5 offense and defense. And they're really good. I mean, what more can I say? But yeah, all the overrated stuff, yeah, that's nonsense.
Yeah. No, I think that's crazy too. This is the first time that I've seen that the Knicks have been rated statistically high ever. Like, I mean, every year we're complaining. Every year we're talking about our rookies not getting RJ's left off of list. Like,
right. Exactly.
Last year, Julius Randle was, I think, on the top 100, who was like 71 or something. It was like,
something crazy like that.
Something crazy. Like, where did this come from? All of a sudden, yeah. The 1 year that we got some fire, we pulled off a trade for Cat. Now everybody's talking like, oh yeah, okay, all right, whatever. Let's let it play out. It's just like, the other thing too is like, and that's still, if we want to look at this from a better perspective, guys, I know as fans, we want to see it. We've tired. It's been 50 plus years. But from a fair perspective, remember what this team has just been put together this year, really. Adding Cat, adding Matteo to the starting lineup, big pieces as a part of this team. Boston got their pieces set. Cleveland got their pieces set. These guys have had time to gel.
3 years. At very least 3 years or more.
Yes, that's very important. Unfortunately, we're behind the 8 ball, but as fans, we don't want to hear that. We want to play. We want to win now. So that is fair. That is true. I would agree with that.
And every team gets about a 5-year window. It's not like you have more. You don't really. The runs that you see with Golden State, those aren't like. That's not. Those are not fluke years. Like those are legit. years that team put. That's a dynasty team. Those are dynasty teams. It's different. Most teams get a good 5-year run, and then they have to break it up and start over.
Right. True. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Please smash that like button for the show if you haven't already done so. You see us here. We up here talking that talk. We got the objective Knicks fan up here helping us keep everything in perspective. You know what I mean? Even helping talk me off the ledge, because sometimes I need some help too, man. I'm ready to jump sometimes, but I'm all right. I'm not. I gotta be right for y'all, man. I'm feeling a little on the edge, a little bit, but I ain't ready to go over yet. So, but I appreciate you being here, and John always keeping things level headed, man. That's what we need sometimes.
Yep.
Shout out to everybody in the chat, though. Appreciate you guys. Too many people to mention, but just Vaughn Allen. Knicks will be 2025 champs. Big Lou in the building. Jay Chosen, Josh Smooth. Appreciate you. JJ's here. E. Gibson in the building. D. Rass. Stacks Different Timing. Thank you for being a member of the SKF Army. Shout out to David Smith as well for being a member of the SKF Army. We also got let me see who else we got here. No Cap Life's Analyst is in the building. D. Grant is here. Salute to you. Thank you for being part of the show. Thank you, DNL M. Almonte in the building. Salute to you. Appreciate you. Thank you for being here and rocking with us. Shout out to everybody, man. Shout out to L Dammit is in the building. Shout out to you also being a member of the SKF Army. Pew, 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 pew. She loves to say that. Appreciate you. Thank you for being here. Yeah, man. Thank you to everybody. Now,
were you able to hear that?
Oh, you didn't hear it?
No, I heard it, but were you able to hear that?
Oh, I hear it. Yeah, I hear it.
Pew, 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 pew.
Yeah. That's what she says. Pew, pew.
Yeah, that's comedy.
That's her slogan. Pew, pew. Let's go. Shout out to Crim's dad. Thank you for the generous super chat. He says, can we kidnap Thibs? I have a box truck. Andio said he can bring the rope and blindfold. With new coach, we #1 with Brunson, Bridges, OG Hart, and a decent center in Cat. Add 7-foot TJ Warren backup, a 7'1" and a TJ Warren backup. I see what you're trying to say. Listen, man, this year is going to play out a certain way, and for our sakes, we better hope Thibs gets it right. We better hope Thibs. Just all Thibs got to do is make a couple different adjustments. We're not asking for a lot. And this is nothing that Thibs can't do. It's just he's got to be willing to do it. He's got to be willing to say, you know what? I'm going to try something. And whatever I try is not going to set us back. Because I feel like that's what holds Thibs back. Thibs doesn't want to do certain things because he thinks it's going to be a detriment to the team philosophy and what the game plan is. Or else he would do it, right? You're not going to not do it if you felt like it's good. If you don't feel like it's going to hurt anything, why not do it? He obviously feels trying a different person here, or putting this guy in the game, or trying a different set. Let's start running back screens and do curls to get whatever that deviates from his normal game plan. He obviously feels a certain way about it. We got to hope that he gets out of that and starts to experiment a little bit, because until we can get fully healthy, till we get OG back, until we can get Mitch, who we're going to talk about right now real quick, until we can get Mitch back, he's got to be willing to try certain things. So also want to thank Mr. P. Duggar, another one, the generous super chat. He said 5-out ball is so stupid without shooting. Shake my head. Yeah, 5-out ball doesn't really work well when guys aren't shooting well. It is a problem. So yeah. And the thing is, honestly, even Boston fans, I'm just throwing this out there. Apparently, Boston fans and analysts have watched Boston, have been a little upset with them and their 5-out style of basketball because they've been living and dying by the 3, and that's why they've lost certain games. The difference is Boston has had solid defense throughout, which has kept them in games and allowed it not to be as big of a problem as it could be for someone else, a la the Knicks. So, yes, 5-out ball is kind of dangerous if it's not being executed properly. And you also have to get rebounds. And the Knicks have kind of deviated away from being that top-notch rebounding team. We really gotta find ourselves right now to figure out what's the best style, what's the best way to play basketball Can we switch up when things aren't working right? Can we make adjustments? Don't know, because our coach has to be willing to do it. But we go from there. Anyway, that being said, guys, the return of Mitch. Apparently, it's on the horizon. The Knicks have put it out there that they are guesstimating March 1st as a day that Mitchell Robinson will be back on the court playing. We'll see. It is currently February 10th, so that's still a ways away. But objective, what's your thoughts, man? Do you feel like because they said some good things, that Mitch is finally looking like he's on schedule. He's not ready for 5-on-5 quite yet, but he's ramping up. Do you believe in what's being foreshadowed?
Well, I definitely have concerns about Mitch, because my goal was to get him back now. So like he could bum it out the whole February. March comes, first half he might not look so good. Towards the second half, he becomes the blockness monster again. Then we got a whole April. Now he goes into the playoff fresh. They're talking about I mean, bro, it's been so long. Remember, matter of fact, I was on your channel when we was talking about it, and I said, because you thought it was going to be like November, and I said, no, they said December, January. And then now we go to February. And then Shams, during the Celtics game, he gets up there and says, hey, we're hearing the Knicks hope to get him back before March 1st. March? Like, I mean, what's going on? What's next? April 10th? I mean, I don't know. I thought that he was hit. They've been quiet with his injury details, but I thought it was just a conditioning thing. Once you go through the 1-on-0, 1-on-1, 2-on-2, and all of that stuff, you work your way up to 5-on-5. I'm thinking, okay, it's just a conditioning issue. Maybe it's something more going on. I'm not sure if there's been a setback, but if he's coming back in March, man, it's going to be tough to get him acclimated, because it might take him a month of bumming it out for him to get back to the blockness monster status. And then April, he has to you got to hope it happens by April comes, so you be ready for the playoffs. It's a little concerning to me. But if he does come back, and he's ready to rock and roll 100%, he makes us a bigger team. I think that the size issues that we've seen now kind of goes away, especially if he plays it the way I think he possibly can play it. One way, people think, hey, a lot of my people on my channel, I did a poll asking, should Mitch slide Towns over to the 4? A lot of fans said they think that can happen. So that's a possibility. If Towns slides to the 4 and OG to the 3, and then maybe Hart to the bench with Bridges at the 2, now you become an extremely big team, right? No more 5-out basketball. I mean, it's a whole different dynamic. So that's one way you can become a bigger team, just by starting Mitch. But you still can have some size with him coming off the bench. Now, Mitch at the 5 off the bench, you could play him with Towns together at time. I'm not saying to never play them together, just to make sure he gets his minutes. But then Precious also gets time at the 4. Now you slide OG down to the 3. Right. And then Hart and Bridges, they can share time at the 2 spot. So I think that Mitch definitely makes us a bigger team. I'm just hoping that he can come back a lot sooner than March, like maybe the 21st, the Cavs game, or the 20th, the Chicago game right after the All-Star break. That's what I'm hoping for. But yeah, March, we don't need him going into March, because March, you don't want to be trying to figure stuff out. You want to have a solid idea for, okay, we're starting Mitch, we're benching Mitch. You want to have that figured out. If he's coming back in March and you got to figure that process out, boy, it's going to be a lot tougher.
You ain't lying about that. John, what's your thoughts on Mitch? And are you I'm at all surprised that they decided to go this route and not make a move and kind of wait for Mitch to come back?
I'm not surprised, because I don't think they could. I think they were shopping and they couldn't find a suitor. I think that's just what it came down to. Given his, his health his injury past, and there would be a lot of conditions wrapped around any sort of contract that they would, as we've seen, like the Lakers pulled off of a trade because someone's history or they do their checkout with him just didn't work out.
Yeah, the physical.
Physical, right? And so it's just, we don't necessarily know what we got with Mitch. Like I said, he's the great unknown. There's a lot of hope that he comes back in prime condition and prime Mitch status. It's going to take him a while to get to who he once was, or just playing to that speed. But there ain't no guarantee, right? And so that to me is sort of like, that's a hindrance. It's a hindrance if you have to play ball. If I'm his teammate, I'm not excited about him seeing the court either. That's the reality. Like, I play a whole season without you. You're gonna take someone's minutes there, right? And so, because we know Thibs, and so whose value minutes are gonna be lost? Most likely Achua, right? And so it's kind of like, you hope that it's all it's cracked up to be. You get the height and you get the skill that once was, then it's great. Then we will see a defensive juggernaut of a team. But there's no indication that will be so. And so, with that said, it's like, it's sort of a waiting game. We got till March to see if he hits the court. If you don't hit the court by March, expect this not to be a great, position to be in. Like, if he doesn't start it, if he doesn't touch the court in March, just sit him. Don't waste your time at that point. It's just not even worth the value to have him come on the court. Might as well miss the year and come back the following year healthy.
Right. Like, why? What are we even playing around for? Like, if you ain't ready by March, after all this time, us thinking you're gonna be ready in January, then it's February, then it's March, and you ain't ready. No, whatever.
Yeah. It doesn't make sense to me, right? So, and I'm with you. I'm with Objective Knicks. Look, I would prefer him to come in after the All-Star break, like right away, get some minutes, get it all out, But there's nothing. There's no report saying that he will be, right. He's just currently running through contact right now. So,
yeah, man, it's crazy. It is crazy. Well, listen, guys. Hey, man, Jay Chosen. Man, I'm sorry, brother. I appreciate you, but tonight, unfortunately, is not the night. We just wanted to get into a lot of good conversation. If there was time, I would have opened up the phone lines, but we on schedules. We got to get up, go to work tomorrow. I got to make sure I wind down and get my sleep on. And plus, people, we got to do what we got to do. We've been rocking for a minute, but I appreciate you, bro. And I also know that you guys are going to be jonesing a little bit, but I hope y'all still come through on Saturday and support the show, because this Saturday won't be the normal show, guys. Just wanted to give y'all a little disclaimer. This Saturday is going to be the Still Knick Fans Know the Ledge All-Star Edition. If y'all have been rocking with us for a minute, the last 2 years, put together an all-star panel of content creators. So this Saturday is going to be one of those again. So the usual suspects, no offense to y'all, love y'all, but this is going to be content creators only, you know what I mean? Because I want to give you a little different dynamic. It's all-star time. Why not give y'all the all-star content creators a little, some of your favorite people y'all like to watch is going to be coming in and out throughout the whole day. It should be pretty fun. We have a good time every time we do it, so it should be another good one this year. So stay tuned. This Saturday be a little special, the All-Star Edition for the All-Star Weekend. Anyway, that being said, tomorrow we got the Indiana Pacers, and I just want to let you know that I am not happy about the fact that Indiana's been struggling, but don't worry, because they're going to come to play against the Knicks. You know how it always works. What are we talking about here? That's how it always works. So I'm not happy about tomorrow's game, but I want the Knicks to win it because that'll be a nice thing. Some people may not look at it as a big thing. I look at it as a big thing. Indiana gives us a little bit of a problem, especially when they play their up-tempo style of basketball and they're clicking. They haven't been clicking that great this year, but they have moments where they've shined, and tomorrow could be one of those. So hopefully the Knicks take this game seriously. Hopefully they come out with a nice game plan. They get Cat the ball. Brunson does his thing, but also moves the ball. But it's not just about it's the team. Everybody has to believe in each other. They have to. And Thibs has to be prepared to make an adjustment or two if needed. to allow the Knicks to win the game. Your thoughts, real quick, objective on tomorrow's Indiana game.
It definitely is a game that the Knicks, I think, have to win, kind of, because these fans would jump off the ledge if they lose that to Indiana, you know. But it's a game that we definitely have the potential to win, even if OG doesn't play. I know they said that he was questionable. I think this game is a game that you have to get under your books. Let me see. I just wanted to check the injury report, but this is a game you got to win. ESPN doesn't have this as a favorite right now, though. According to their machine, Indiana has a 57% chance of winning, but I don't care about the ESPN machine. Miles Turner is a game time decision. If he's not playing, that's going to be a tough game for them. That's going to be a tough game. So if Miles Turner doesn't show up, I think Towns, he feasts on them. I don't think they would have no one to match what Towns can bring to the table. But as far as that, man, look, be prepared for this. Knicks win tomorrow, right? All the fans are going to be praising the Knicks again. We're going to have, happy chats. No one's going to jump off the ledge. By the way, I peeked into the chat. I try not to do that when I go on panel shows. I saw my man Knicks will be champs 25-26. He said that he losing to Boston made him want to change his name. Do not change your name. It's one game. It's one game. Come on. But yeah, I think we could win.
Okay. All right. He's got a super chat too. John, I'll get your opinion about Indiana as well as your opinion about this super chat. Shout out the Knicks will be 2025-26 champs. He says, is this Knicks lack of 3-point defense a symptom of coaching or a flawed roster? Your thoughts, John?
Well, I think it's a bit of both. I think it's Thibs have historically never really coached a solid defensive team that really defends the three well. I don't recall. It's really paint oriented. You know what I mean? Push your offense into a center that can block, right, and center that can play big. That's usually Thibs' go-to. Now, flawed roster in the sense that I think rotational sort of is sort of the problem for us with this current Knicks team. It's like we bite a lot on the pump fakes, the shooters. We dive at shooters versus staying in range. And that's part of it, right? You playing behind the ball, and the ball is always going to move faster than the player. So teams that got good ball movement and they can knock down a three, we're going to struggle with. Indiana being one of those teams, right? And so that is a concern. Again, without a Miles Turner, they're a different team. So I think I agree. If he's not on the court, I think we win and we handle our business easily. If he's on the court, I think we will struggle to win that game.
Yeah. Like it's always, we can't, no matchup in the NBA. This NBA in particular, I will say this is the 1 year so far that every team is a problem. You can't take nobody for granted. I mean, of course, maybe like the Washington. Yeah, but for the most part, all these other bad teams that are so-called bad teams, they're all better. They can beat you on any given night now. So yeah, can't take anybody for granted. So I'm with you on that, and Indiana especially, because they get up for playing the Knicks.
Didn't Portland just run out like 5 in a row? Even they went on a win streak.
Yeah, Portland's been playing better. Yeah, you got to watch everybody, man. Everybody's just there's a lot of parity in the NBA right now. So yeah, can't take anybody for granted. So that being said, let me get over to Objective with your final words, my brother, and obviously, feel free to plug anything you got going on as usual.
Well, first I gotta thank you guys for having me here again. You know, I look forward to be on here more, and I'm gonna try to make the All-Star event Saturday. It starts at 11:30, right? Your normal time. You starting your show?
Yeah. I'm
Okay.
unless there's any issues, which everybody already knows. Like if I have to delay it a little bit, it's because I have to eat or do some stuff. Because
Right,
once I
yeah,
get going, I'm stuck.
I got
ain't
you. I
moving.
got you.
But yeah,
I'm
it should be
gonna get on
11:30.
early. I'm gonna try to get on early when you start it. Because Saturday is always a crazy day, you know. So, I mean, when you got a family, it's crazy. But thank you guys for having me again. My channel, The Objective Knicks Fans. Some of you guys were on there earlier going crazy. I see you guys in the chat. Check me out. If you're not subscribed, definitely head over there to subscribe. I do the live play-by-play games for anytime the Knicks are not on MSG. So when we go to ABC, TNT, so we don't got to listen to Shaq and all these guys talk nonsense about us. I give us the MSG feel. I try to give the right commentary. And it's always a good vibe. I even have people call up too while the game is on. And of course, I got my podcast on Mondays that I do before this show at 6 p.m. And then on Friday nights, we got the Knicks call-up show, which has been doing really well. Though this Friday, we won't be doing the show because it's Valentine's Day. I do got plans with the lady. Sorry, guys. But we'll be rocking out on Thursday instead of Friday. So, yeah, I mean, that's all I got going right there on my channel. Like I said, I try to do all the games that are not on MSG. And then I got my call-up show and my podcast on Mondays. Hopefully, I see you guys over there.
Dope, man. And once again, man, we appreciate you. It's always good to have you. Always good to chop it up. Like I said, man, you like family now, so you're always welcome. And anytime, any one of us is available to jump on your show, we could do it, by all means, man. It's always good chopping it up with you, bro.
I appreciate it.
So true.
John, final words, my brother.
Man, it's always a pleasure being on, man. And it's been a wild ride this year because I had a lot of personal things going on, family. You know what I mean? And my son's playing, so you know what I mean. Proud dad moments, are happening for him and his team. I spoke to the guys earlier to let the world know that Washington Wizards are 12-0 right now, and top of their division. Yeah, and they're in I live in a town called Washingtonville here in upstate New York, and they're doing a hell of a job. So shout out to them, JV team on deck, looking really good. Trying to close out their season. They got 4 more games left, I believe. If not, there's 3 more games left. But see if they can end the season out right. And yeah, man, always thankful to be on with you, Ron, and thank you, Objective Knicks, for jumping on with us and enjoying the time with you all talking Knicks. And for everybody out there, for tuning in and being supportive, appreciate you. So stay blessed, stay healthy, and look forward to the next one.
There you go, man. Yeah, appreciate you, brother, as always, man. No words for Marcus Jordan. It sucks to be him.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, man, as I always say, thank you guys for being here as usual. Smash that like button if you haven't already done so. Smash it on your way out. But yeah, tell a friend who tells a friend who tells another friend. Still Knicks fans. We'll be back again, whether it be on Monday nights at 9 p.m. for SKF Weekly with myself, my brother John, and my brother Jose, who's not here tonight, but he's here with us in spirit. He'll be back soon. Just he's got a couple shows off, but he'll be right back with us. Appreciate my brother. Yeah, man. Or catch us on Saturdays for Know the Ledge, as I look like I have to talk y'all off the ledge and keep myself from stepping on the ledge, man. I can't talk y'all off if I'm on it. You know what I mean? So appreciate you guys as always for supporting and showing love for the shows. And we're gonna continue to rock, man. We're gonna continue to be here because it's never been more important than right now, guys. The good, the bad, the ups, the downs. No matter what, we are still Knicks fans. I know. What better time to say that than now? Because we need it. We're gonna be okay, guys. Remember, we here. It's gonna all turn out okay. So, take care of yourselves. Have a great rest of your night. Peace out. One yourself. We'll catch you on the next one. We out. Latest.
Salute.
New York Knicks. First. Go Knicks.
We can finally, start playing, man. So much talk this whole summer. It's felt like so long because we've had so much to talk about. At times it's been kind of slow, but we've been talking, right? But we've actually had a really good off season for this New York Knicks team, and it's been very active. There's been a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah, Knicks family, we in the building. I am the Objective Fan from the Objective Knicks Fan channel. And I'm going to give a big salute to Ron and John from Still Knicks Fans.
What's going on, guys?
Hey, Knicks family, I'm Stephanie, a.k.a. Blood No Soul Sports Talk. We are still Knicks.
What's going on, everybody? It's your girl, Lady and the Chef from Two Knicks Chicks Podcast. Still a Knicks fan.
What's good, party people in the place to be? It's your main man.
What's up, everybody? This is Steve21 at Two Knicks Chicks Podcast, and I'm still a Knicks fan.
Yo, this is your boy Sim from Nothing But Knicks. Through all the struggles, through all the heartache and pain, ladies and gentlemen, I am still a Knicks fan.
Peace, y'all. This is Apollo Reed from the Garden Knicks crew. And I don't know about y'all, but I'm still a Knicks fan.
I'm still here. We're still here. Still Knicks fans. It's a fandom. It's a lifestyle.